Hello guys, in this session we are going to learn about mechanical forces exerted on the transformer. So mechanical, how it is produced? Simply, in the machine there is a current flowing through the winding and stray magnetic field also. The interaction, because of the interaction of the current in the winding and stray magnetic field, the mechanical forces exerted on the transformer core, and that magnitude of that core is depends on the product of current and the intensity of the magnetic field due to which produces due to the neighboring currents. And it also, you can observe that the force exerted on the core of the transformer is proportional to the square of the current. So under normal condition or ordinary situation, the current is small, therefore the forces are moderate and are not sufficiently large to be noticed. And if considering short circuit, in the under short circuit condition, suppose current may reach 10 to 25 times of full load value with mechanical forces, then forces will exert with, as I said, the force is proportional to the square of the current. That's why again, because of the current appearing 10 to 25 times of the full load, then forces again appears the square of that. It means 100 to 625 times of the normal forces. So under such conditions, the mechanical force may become so greater as to wreck the transformer unless the coils are solidly braced. So the forces exerted on the transformer are analyzed with three components. First one is radial component, second axial component, third unbalanced axial component due to asymmetry. So let's see one by one the radial forces. Consider a core type transformer. In this figure you can observe cores are shown and magnetic field with the leakage fluxes are shown, and current direction also shown. For example, you can concentrate here. Fr is shown, that is nothing but the radial force, and these are the direction of leakage fluxes. So these direction are nothing but the axial direction, so it is called as axial field of leakage fluxes. And this is nothing but a current direction. The dot convention is nothing but the current is coming outside the plane, and this cross symbol is nothing but cross convection is nothing but current is going inside the plane. So as the interaction of the leakage flux or the stray magnetic field and the current through the winding, then forces exerted on the core of the transformer, that you can say here Fr, these are exerting with the opposite direction as the current directions are opposite. On other hand, it will exert the direct forces on the outer winding and the outer insulation of the windings. So inner windings may attach with the core, and it may burst the winding also. So, and average force of that radial force also you can calculate. So simply you can define the radial force is nothing but the interaction of axial field and the current through the winding. So simultaneously I am covering a simple definition of also axial force. Axial force is nothing but the interaction of radial field and the current through the windings. Simply they both are as per the axial field and radial field. Here you can let's see some calculation regarding our expression for the calculating the average forces. To find the force, consider the instantaneous current small I and number of turns T of one winding, and the flux density in the duct between the outer and inner is nothing but Ba. So BA you can define as a mu 0 into h, which is a fundamental, is equal to, you can say h is nothing but the mmf divided by mean length of the leakage flux path. So it is defined with the mu 0 I into t divided by LC. LC is nothing but just I am showing here. LC is nothing but, this LC is nothing but a leakage flux path in the duct. So the density varies uniformly from BA at inner surface of the coil to 0 at the outer surface. The average we can calculate as mu 0 I into t divided by 2 LC, this one. And suppose the force on the conductor of length small l, if just considering the length of the conductor small l, and as per the fundamentals, force can be calculated as F is equals to magnetic flux density into the current into the length of the conductor, which is in Newton. So flux density, that is nothing but average flux density here, current small I, length of the strip, this one, and turns. Just consider a circular winding or a circular coil, and out of that a small portion, that is nothing but this one, this differential part having a force of dFr and having a radius r, and with the angle, considering a small differential part with the angle d theta. So as per this, we can define we can calculate the differential force for that a particular small part, that is flux density BAV, which will not be changed, it is constant for overall winding or coil, and the current I, and the radius, that is radius into d theta, that is nothing but the length of strip. You can observe here it is nothing but the length of strip. This length of strip is nothing but a arc can be calculated with the help of simple fundamental, that is radius into the angle, that is radius is r, this radius is r, and angle is defined d theta. So here length of the strip is defined as a r into d theta, and number of turns t, these are nothing but the number of turns t of outer surface on the outer surfaces. So you can define BAV as we defined earlier. So just put the values of BAV, and you get the here mu 0 upon 2 I into t square r upon LC into d theta, which is in Newton. As I said, the force whatever we are calculating or exerting radially, that are is proportional to the square of the current. So it will appear instantaneous current I into t in the square term. So just take the integration on both sides. It should be integration with respect to d theta, with respect to theta. So there is just a small part here showing. If you are considering a whole winding, it is a circular shape, that is, you can say here it is of 0 degree, then with the circulation it will complete with angle of 360 degree, you can say. So it is defined in radian, it is with the limits of integration with the limits of 0 to 2 pi, that is 360 degree. So by taking the integration, you will get here mu 0 upon 2 I into t bracket square. Here you will get 2 pi r upon LC. This 2 pi r is nothing but the circumference of the circle simply. So it is termed as LMT. LMT is nothing but the mean length of the turn. Here you can see 2 pi r is equal to LMT, that is the mean length of the turn. So I is nothing but instantaneous current with the symmetrical peak short circuit current. So for that short circuit current, under the short circuit current, you can consider that the instantaneous current goes jumped with the 2 upon epsilon times. of the full load current. So epsilon is nothing but simply per unit impedance. So 2 divided by impedance, 2 upon epsilon. To find the average radial force under normal operating condition, you can consider the instantaneous current is as nothing but I is equals to root 2 I into sine of omega t plus minus phi, and I square, that is nothing but under the short circuit current, because we defined that or termed as radial force is proportional to the square of the current. That's why it appears I square is equals to 2 I square sine of omega t plus minus phi square. So capital I, here capital I defines RMS value of the current. Now let's calculate the overall or average radial force FR. FR is equal to mu 0 upon 2 I into T bracket square LMT upon LC, as we defined earlier. Let's see the axial forces. About the axial forces, here just by the observation, it is defined as I defined earlier, that it is developed because of the interaction of the current and radial component, the leakage fluxes. So these are nothing but these forces are unimportant under the symmetrical arrangement of the winding. And here in the figure you can observe a shell type transformer with windings of sandwich type. Here you can observe this is nothing but a core. This square part shows a core of shell type transformer, and these are the coils shown here, and these windings as per the sandwich type winding. So it is numbered with the first coil, second coil, third coil, fourth coil, fifth coil, sixth coil, seventh coil, eighth coil, ninth coil, and 10th coil. And in these coils you can also observe that the forces are shown with the WC, and exerted forces on the first coil and the 10th coil are opposite to each other. Like that it is here paired with the coils 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So you can see also here as per the pairs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, 10. The forces on the consider force on the coil 2 is in one direction, and if you are observing the force on the coil 3, then it will be opposite to that of the second coil. So likewise the forces will exert oppositely for the coils 4, 5 pairly 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, 9. So same as earlier in radial forces, we can calculate the average, we can find the average flux density of for axial forces. So BAV is equal to 1 by 2 mu 0 I into Tn upon Wc. Here defines Tn upon Wc, that is Tn is number of turns on each end of the half coil. Okay, so half coil, it is defined Tn. Instantaneous axial forces, that is nothing but simply the BAV, here instantaneous current I, and length of the mean turn length of the winding, and this is nothing but a number of turns of the each half coil. So simply just calculate here. By calculating averagely, you will get average force for axial force, that is FAV is equal to mu 0 upon 8 into n square I into T bracket square LMT upon WC, which is in Newton. Now forces due to asymmetry winding types. Till now we've seen all the cases of radial force and axial force, both are symmetrical cases. For the unsymmetrical cases, there may be in transformer there may be tappings. Because of the tapping ranges, it involves some of the part of the various windings being out of the circuit, so it becomes a asymmetry, which may give the effect on the forces. So when asymmetry is caused, there will be both axial and radial forces, which will produce a axial Now consider one of the coil is shorter in the length as compared to the other coils. Then it will produce unbalanced MMF that you can define as a K into IT. So here you can observe there is one of the coil and this another shortened coil, and first coil having a width of B1, another having a width of B2, and these two coils are separated with A. So total distance of two coils between the two coils, that is of x, and total distance separated by the surfaces, that is 2x. So we can define x as nothing but b1 plus a plus b2, and 2x is nothing but 2 into bracket b1 plus a plus b2. So we can define here the two iron surfaces can be separated with the distance 2x, that is nothing but through 2 into a plus b1 plus b2. Also you can observe here the different cases. Here you can observe one of the shortened coil and another one a full coil, which produces at this moment, which produces different unbalanced MMF, that is I into T. Here it will be going to increase because of the shortened length of the coil, and again it will be reduces because of these two are acting in the opposite. That's why. So same again in this case also, with the interaction of the two coils magnetic field, so MMF will going to increase as additional shortened coil is here, and at the end of the shortened coil it goes to decreases and again increases. That is nothing but unbalancing of MMF. Like that it is going to happen in the asymmetric conditions. So you can also calculate forces due to asymmetric winding types, which includes axial force as well as the radial force. So you can say here simply you can define magnetic flux density, that is B is equals to mu 0 K. K is for asymmetry or unbalanced MMF, that is K into I into T. So mu 0 into K into I into T divided by 2x. So just for it taking the average, by taking the average it is just multiply by 1 by 2, that is mu 0 upon 2 K into I into T divided by 2x. So total instantaneous axial flux acting on the coil, that is nothing but FA is equals to mu 0 upon 2 K into IT upon 2x, that is nothing but simply BAV, average flux density, and LMT, mean turn length of winding or the coil, and I into T MMF. So you will get like that mu 0 upon 2 K into I into T square LMT upon 2x, and just substitute the value of x, that is nothing but a plus b1 plus b2. So finally you will get the average force, that is FA average is equal to mu 0 upon 2 K into I into T bracket square LMT upon 2 into a plus b1 plus b2. Now next one is nothing but bracing. Bracing is nothing but it is a part to give mechanical strength, increase the mechanical strength of the outer winding. Actually whenever the forces acting on the transformer, it will maximum forces will exert on end coils, and for that to sustain it, end coil should be heavily insulated. It is very important, but it is not sufficient with the mechanical strength to withstand the axial force. So it is supported with the mechanical arrangement, that is nothing but a bracing. So let's see one simple example to calculate radial force or maybe axial force. So simply read the example carefully. What we have, 500 kV, that is rating of the transformer is given 500 kV, and 11,000 by 440 volt delta star transformer has the following data, that is HV turns of 1660, and length of the mean turn, that is 93 centimeter, length of the coil is 52 centimeter, and short circuit current is given 20 into rated current. So rated current is not given, we have to calculate here. Find radial force in tons on the HV winding under short circuit condition. So simply we can define the radial force Fr as we see in the theory, that is mu 0 upon R I into T bracket square LMT upon LC Newton. A rated current on HV side we can calculate as volt ampere rating for 3 phase, that is divided by 3 into this voltage on HV side, that is 11 kV. So we can define 500 into 1000 for kVA, because 500 kVA it is defined. For kVA it is written as multiplied with the 1000, and here divided by for 3 phase it is 3 into 11 kV, that is voltage of HV side. We have to calculate rated current HV side on HV side, that's why it is divided with the HV voltage, high voltage, that is we will get 15.15 ampere. For the short circuit current it is given 20 into that rated current, so it will appear in under short circuit, the current will appear as a 303 ampere. Now radial force, that is radial force 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 3, this is the value of the mu 0 divided by 2 I into T bracket square, that is I 303 T number of turns of the HV turn, that is 1660 into LMT, that is mean length of the turn, it is given 93 centimeter, just convert it into meter, that is 0.93, and divided by length of the coil, it is in also centimeter, 52 centimeter, just convert it into meter, that is 0.52. you will get the value in the Newton, but it is nothing but a radial force in Newton, but we have to calculate the radial force in ton. To calculate in ton, just convert it into Newton into the kg and into the ton. It is very easy, just divided by gravitational force, that is 9.8 into 1000 for to making the unit into tons, to convert it into tons, so it will become a 29 tons. Simple calculation is there, just putting the values as we have the formulation. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much.